Abby and Brittany's sister just dropped a bombshell. The entire tale the arena saw on TV changed into faked. The supposedly real lives of the famous conjoined twins had been without a doubt a carefully crafted phantasm. Behind the cameras, their lifestyles turned into filled with struggles and painful truths that in no way made it to air. TLC sold us an inspiring story. However, the fact was far from picture ideal. Let us uncover what without a doubt occurred. The surprising fact they in no way wanted us to see. The real cost of fame. Born in March 1990 in Minnesota, they share a frame, however have two heads. Known as diphallic parapagus twins. A circumstance where individuals are conjoined with separate heads, however a shared frame. Their situation is pretty rare, and surviving it even greater so. People have been interested, two minds, one frame. Believe how complicated existence may want to get, and it certain looked like they had been making it work. From day one, their tale was spun like a few form of modern-day miracle, overcoming the percentages residing as close to normal as possible or as normal is viable, and showing the sector just how high quality and inspiring they will be. Two minds, one frame, and a mission that would shatter all expectancies awaited them. But what was truly happening behind the curtain? These sisters had been changed into reality TV icons, but at what cost? Their privacy? Their individuality? There's a motive we don't listen a great deal from them these days. The highlight is now not all that glamorous when it's compelled upon you, and once the cameras close off, there's no crew to make certain everything goes easily. Growing up as conjoined twins, they confronted demanding situations most humans cannot even begin to understand. From the start, their parents were decided to raise them as though they were two separate people, and to their credit score, they did a pretty precise process. Each had their very own options, personalities, and quirks. But in addition, they needed to share everything. Even the basic, ordinary matters that most human beings take for granted. Imagine coordinating every meal, each outfit, each step you take. These siblings didn't simply should address the demanding situations of sharing a body. Additionally, they had to face the public's in no way finishing interest. As teens, the twins appeared in numerous documentaries or even had their own display on TLC. Remember the ones segments where they performed sports activities like volleyball? It become almost just like the cameras have been there to say, look, they are just like everybody else. But Truth TV is in no way pretty actual. It's a carefully curated narrative. The inspiring moments, the triumphs, the texture-appropriate montages. What about the rough instances? The moments once they disagreed or struggled? We barely noticed any of that due to the fact it didn't suit the storyline TLC desired to push. Sure, they graduated university, incredible feat by way of any general. They both pursued levels in schooling and finally started teaching 5th grade. That's brilliant. But the truth is that there were struggles and compromises. Imagine each looking to agree on what issue to attention on, selecting coursework, figuring out career paths, all at the same time as sharing a single frame. It's laborious simply to reflect on, consideration on, yet this become their fact. And the cameras painted it as a breezy achievement story, glossing over the challenges that came with every accomplishment. The media loves a overcome adversity story. However, their lives had been no longer just about triumph. The reality is, they have been managing one huge compromise after some other. In paintings, in relationships, in the whole lot. You don't see the regular arguments or the toll of continuously being a function model. Each expressed dreams of having relationships, getting married, or even having youngsters. And the world ate it up. But how practical have been the one's dreams, given their scenario? The show made it seem like whatever become viable if you're find sufficient, however that was a long way from the truth. After the camera stopped rolling, they went back to their lives. Lives which might be nonetheless whatever, but ordinary. They trained 5th grade at a college in Minnesota, and by all bills, they are superb teachers. But it's not all smiles and sunshine. The reality is, they are navigating a global that is nevertheless no longer constructed for them. A global that still stares, questions, and in no way quite receives it. And then there's the entire love factor. One is reportedly engaged, whilst the other has a boyfriend. But the truth of keeping separate romantic relationships, even as sharing a body, is a stage of hardship. This is tough to wrap your head around. The TLC show ended after simply 8 episodes. The novelty wore off and the world moved on. They have been now not ought to see TV. The identical folks that had tuned in to watch their inspirational adventure moved on to the subsequent story, the next spectacle. And that's the darkish side of those styles of tales. The public loves the inspiration, however, as soon as the story loses its shine, it's discarded. These days, they continue to educate and stay their lives as first-rate they can. They're now not perfectly inspirational figures, they are simply people attempting to make it work in a scenario that is tough past imagination. The truth in their lives isn't the tale TLC informed. It's extra complicated, much less glamorous, and full of compromises that don't make for a successful film/TV display. The truth is that their lives have continually been a mix of triumphs and struggles, complete of information that the cameras in no way captured. When they had been born on March 7, 1990, their parents had no concept what form of challenges lay ahead. Conjoined twins are uncommon sufficient, however their state of affairs became truly specific. Each had a head, separate hearts, and wonderful personalities, but they shared a maximum of their body, a single torso, one set of arms and legs, and inner organs like the liver. Doctors didn't assume them to continue to exist long after start, however they defied the one's expectations. Their teenage years brought new challenges that delivered complexity to their story. The challenges of sharing everything. From the begin, Mike and Patty Hensel made the aware decision to treat their daughters as people. They did not want Abby and Brittany to feel like they had been just one man or woman. Break up into heads. Each had her personal bedroom, toys, and pastimes. One become extra outspoken, whilst the alternative become more reserved. One loved math, at the same time as her sister desired writing. Even although they shared a frame, they were encouraged to develop their very own identities. But sharing a frame supposed that each selection required negotiation. From brushing their tooth in the morning to identifying what to put on, the sisters needed to agree on almost the entirety. Each controlled one arm and one leg, which meant that coordination changed into essential. Learning to stroll, play, and even write required remarkable teamwork. Their dad and mom taught them from a younger age to be an affected person with every different and to talk successfully, talents that could become crucial at some point of their lives. Despite the challenges, those siblings had a rather everyday early life. They attended public college, participated in extracurricular activities, and made pals. They had been even part of their school's volleyball team. Their participation in sports activities was often highlighted in documentaries, and the TLC show became an extraordinary instance in their dedication. They needed to work collectively seamlessly to transport, bounce, and play. It was now not clean, but they made it appearance effortless. Their dedication to guide ordinary lives persisted into their teenage years. They found out to force at 16, passing each the written and practical assessments. Driving was a complex task for them. Each controlled one aspect of the automobile. One managed the gas and brakes together with her proper foot, whilst the opposite treated the steerage. It required perfect coordination, but they made it painting. Their potential to navigate these demanding situations earned them admiration, but it additionally positioned them below steady scrutiny. The media fascination with these twins peaked when TLC supplied them their very own truth display in 2012. The application became meant to offer visitors an interior review of things they once rejected as impossible, like conjoined twins. It aired for 8 episodes and accompanied the pair as they graduated from Bethel University, looked for jobs, and launched into their coaching careers. The show was advertised as inspirational, that specialized in their accomplishments and the normalcy of their lives. But there has been little point out of the difficulties they faced, the arguments, the compromises, and the sacrifices. The reality of being conjoined twins is that privateness is almost non-existent. Imagine in no way being capable of having a second to yourself. Now not while you are unhappy. Now not while you are indignant. No longer even whilst you are in love. These sisters have shared each moment in their lives, and even as they really love each other deeply, it cannot be smooth. They have needed to navigate relationships, each romantic and platonic, with the added assignment of constantly being physically related. The TLC display emphasized their hopes for love and marriage, but glossed over the truth that such relationships could require an unfastic level of compromise and information from every person concerned. After graduating from Bethel University, the siblings commenced coaching 5th grade at a primary school in Minnesota. Their profession desire became no longer just about their love of training, it became also one of the few professions wherein they could paintings collectively as equals. They educate math and English, with every focusing on her strengths. One, who is continually greater analytical, teaches math, even as her counterpart, who is greater creative, handles English. Their students reportedly love them, and their particular state of affairs has allowed them to expand a teaching style that emphasizes collaboration and empathy. But teaching has its own set of challenges, standing in the front of a classroom every day, being on display, and for them, who are used to the stares and questions, it is a constant reminder of their variations. They have had to set up obstacles with their college students and their students' dad and mom, making it clear that while they are open to questions, in addition, they deserve recognized and privacy. It is a balancing act, one that they have got control with grace, but it isn't always without its problems. In their private lives, these two have endured to push for independence. They have talked openly about looking to get married and have youngsters, but the logistics of that are complex. One is reportedly engaged, and the opposite has been in an extended term courting, however. How do you navigate intimacy when your body is shared together with your sister? It is a query that no reality display may want to ever genuinely solution, and one which those siblings have had to figure out for themselves. They have expressed a desire for privateness in these topics, and it is straightforward to peer why the sector has watched them develop up. However, there are a few matters that have to continue to be private. The public's fascination with their story has always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, their journey has stimulated countless humans, displaying that it is feasible to live a full lifestyle despite extensive challenges. On the opposite hand, they were handled as curiosities, their lives dissected and analyzed for enjoyment. The TLC show was simply one chapter in a lifetime of being inside the spotlight, and while the cameras stopped rolling, those had been left to pick up the portions in their own lives, lives that had been never as easy or as inspirational as the TV manufacturers desired us to trust. Today, they retain to educate and to live their lives as exceptional they are able to. They aren't on social media and seldom deliver interviews. They have chosen to step far from the public eye, focusing as an alternative on their careers and their relationships. They aren't the inspirational figures that the media as soon as portrayed them as. They're truly two people doing their fine in a scenario that maximum people can't even begin to realize. They're truly two people doing their fine in a scenario that maximum people can't even begin to realize. Now as adults, they face new demanding situations and developing online interest. Abby and Brittany respond to online criticism. Twin sisters are giving the haters a piece of their thoughts. These famous conjoined siblings have taken to social media to cope with all the online chatter, mainly approximately one's marriage to Josh Bowling. The pair currently published a TikTok photo presenting the newlywed with an audio clip that perfectly summed up their stance. The message? If you don't like them, but hold watching the entirety they do, you're nonetheless a fan. This duo's direct manner of declaring the hypocrisy of the haters highlights that whilst critics declare to dislike them, they are able to disclose to appearance away. This isn't the primary time the pair has tackled the noise from the net,